regret moving to this one specific neighborhood in Windsor, Ontario. If you're looking for a place to live in the Windsor area, there's lots of good spots, and I will tell you about those spots and why Windsor's so good in a sec. But first, I have a story that involves prostitutes, drug addicts, and bedbugs. So at the time, I was 23 years of age, and I was moving to Windsor for a job at a local radio station. I did something really stupid at the time. I took an apartment without first seeing it, just online without looking. Now, at the time, there was no handsome bald guys on YouTube telling you about the city, so I didn't actually know anything about the city of Windsor or where was good, where was bad. I kind of just took a risk, which was a bad idea. Day one of moving into that apartment, my neighbors seemed a little weird and odd, but it's an apartment. Sometimes you have weird neighbors, okay? So I just went with it, all right? Throughout my time there would often be prostitutes in the lobby. They would just be like sitting there, half spilling out of their shirt. Sometimes they seemed drugged up and they weren't conscious. Other times they would shout their menu, we'll call it, to you as you walked by, okay? Not a great place to live. And worst of all, listen to me, bedbugs.
An exposed limb is like a flashing neon sign for a free, all-you-can-suck buffet.
That's right. Okay, one time I went down into the lobby and I saw an exterminator in there from a local exterminator company. And I asked the woman, I said, hey, is there anyone with anything on my floor I should be worried about? And she looked at me in the eye and she said, yes, all of them have bed bugs. All of these people had bed bugs for at least months. And the scariest part is no one cared. They just lived in their filth in the bed bugs. It took one person on the floor out of the 12 apartments that had bed bugs to call an exterminator, and then they came. And it was at that point she checked my apartment for free, and she said, "Okay, you're clear. I don't really see any, but here's a word of advice." And she looked him in the eye and she said, "Move now." The people on my floor had been living with bed bugs for months and didn't say anything. Now let's dive into the map and let me show you where I was and where are the good spots and the bad spots. Okay, so this here is Windsor, okay, and if we scroll in, so typically when you're looking at Windsor, the east side is better than the west side. The west is worse than the east. There's a lot more crime, a lot more drugs, a lot more shenanigans in the west in general, okay? South Windsor is technically west, and so is LaSalle. Those don't count. Those are great spots to live. But up here is where it's not as good. Over here, much better, just in general. It might change street to street or neighborhood to neighborhood, but in general, east is better, okay? Now, if we scroll into the downtown area, get out of my way, downtown area, okay? And you click the words on Google Maps, city center, click that. Do you see the lines that appear here? This is the box that I lived in, and this neighborhood is not good, okay? It includes the main downtown strip here, and sure, I mean, there'll be some nice restaurants and stuff like that on the downtown strip, but for the most part, living in this area is not good. With the exception of a couple condos I've talked about in other videos, like Victoria Park Place is very affordable. It's not too bad. There's a Polisher building right beside it. That's pretty good. There's 111 Riverside Drive up right around here that overlooks the waterfront. These are fine, nice condos, and you'll know when you go in them. They'll have a security guard at the entrance. It'll be nice. But for the most part, living in this area, not great. It's high crime, okay? It's very affordable, but it's high crime. So let me show you where I lived. I lived at the edge of it over here. There's an apartment building right by Jeanette and University Avenue, okay? That is where I lived at the time. And I'm telling you right now, that building's not very good, and I wouldn't advise you moving into that area if you live in that building. Sorry. I mean, I'm sure you're probably nice, but it was super sketchy. I'm telling you, all right? As you go down these streets here, Jeanette and Cameron and all that stuff, and Church Street, you're going to find lots of houses in this area, and they're going to be in the $300,000 to $400,000 range. If that's your budget, yeah, I mean, you could buy these homes, and you might be fine if you have nice neighbors and stuff like that, but there is going to be more break-ins and stuff in this area, someone smashing the window of your car and trying to grab change and stuff like that. That sort of stuff is more likely to happen here than elsewhere in the city, okay? So, in fact, this McDonald's, where to go here? So this McDonald's right here at Wyandotte in Olette, is one of the worst McDonald's in the area. For like the people that work there will tell you that there's crime all the time. The bathroom doors are locked because homeless people end up in there shooting drugs up, and there's always fights and police in the parking lot of this McDonald's. Like, it's not, downtown is not a great place to be in a lot of cities in Ontario these days, and it's because of our growing homeless population and growing drug problems we have in Ontario. But anyway, so that's not a great place to live. What I ended up doing at the time was moving over here. So this is the Riverside neighborhood, and there's like apartments all along here. If you're going to be renting, I know people watch these that are renting, not just buying. You'll see apartments all along here by the yacht club, right by the water. Great apartments. Honestly, they're well taken care of. They're going to be more pricey. $1,650 a month for a one bedroom is what most of them are, but it's a hell of a lot better life than it is over in the main heart of Windsor, the city center there. Okay. What else did I want to show you? Oh yeah. Okay. So this is what I was going to say. So if your budget is that like $300,000 to $400,000 range, instead of living here where you might be able to find a home, it's going to be the higher end of that range. But if you come down to Remington Park has always been a pretty blue collar area. There's small homes, but from what I hear from people that live in that area is, listen, the neighbors are great. They're down to earth, nice people. It's more of a community. I would personally rather buy there than up in that city center neighborhood. And you know what? Like, it's just further away from downtown. Further away from the shenanigans that happens in a downtown city these days, okay? So you're going to be over here off Howard Avenue on Eugenie, on Brazil, South Pacific, Lillian, Hildegard, Charlotte. All this area, you're going to find small 2 to 3 bedroom homes, 1 to 2 bathrooms. They're going to be, you're probably still not dipping below $350, to be honest with you. But most of them are selling between $350 and $450. You're probably going to be, if you're around that $400,000 range or high 300s, that's a much better spot for you than being up here in city center or even South Central down here. I'm not a huge fan. It's a little better the further you get away from downtown. Up here, not great. Down here, a little bit better, but still personally, I'd rather be down, where to go, in Remington Park area. Also, okay, you should check Walkerville. Now, Walkerville has a wide range of prices, this area here. Like, a wide range of prices. You can get up to $1 million, or you can get, again, $350. But this is a much better area, especially if you come down here near Tecumseh. These streets off of Tecumseh, like Lincoln and Gladstone, and right along here, Chilver, Windermere, you can find some pretty affordable homes for the $350 to $400 range right now. That might change in the future. Again, like, you can barely get a house in the 300s in Ontario, okay? So if the prices do go up again, these will quickly become 400. But as of today, the date of recording, if I'm in that budget, this is personally where I would be looking. I would be looking in Walkerville and South Walkerville area, all around here, okay? They're going to look like this. Here, I'll show you an example. Like, this guy sold for this price, okay? It's in a decent area. It looked decent inside. And this guy right here is another example, sold for this price, okay? So that's kind of what you can get. That can steer you to a better place than up here in city center. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's all I'll touch on for now. And like I said, the east is better. Once you get in the 400s, you're going to find yourself more likely over here in the Riverside area, or in East Windsor area. Here, let's click this. Yeah, ignore this part. This part's not good. But over here, like, you'll be more in this area around the 400 mark as well. All I just wanted to say was that story came to me the other day of living in that neighborhood and how terrible it was. I thought I should tell people that just so they know if they're moving to the Windsor area, okay? If you need help purchasing a property, I don't do rentals, unfortunately, but if you're looking to purchase a property, that's my phone number there on the screen. Feel free to reach out and I can give you a hand.